Well, hello everybody. Ken Johnson back on. I told you before we left here tonight I would jump back on Facebook Live, and you know, this is what I want. This is what the difference in storm mode makes. These thunderstorms. It's pretty loud. You may not even be able to hear me here, but those thunderstorms that have been supercells that are interacting with this volatile air mass we've been talking about all day. These are all producing tornadoes over here in Oklahoma. They started near Ardmore. There's been some pretty big tornadoes on the ground there. This is a fairly significant tornado that's on the ground here tonight. That's well northeast of Ardmore and kind of east of Pauls Valley, but over towards Sulphur Springs. And then again, this is out of my viewing area. This is over in the Oklahoma viewing area. Another big supercell with a big hook on it near Holdenville. This is moving up north. They're going to move east of Shawnee. But that's what I'm talking about. If these storms had been developing like this over us, then we would be seeing stuff like that too. That's the kind of atmosphere that we were dealing with. Every one of these storms are producing over here now, and these are big, nasty tornadoes in these areas. But fortunately for us, we've seen this big band of storms, but it is continuing to rain cats and dogs outside here. It is flooding rain outside here at the time, and really pretty much everywhere along that line is seeing flooding rains here tonight. Now, I do want to at least keep an eye on Montague County. I believe that Montague County is going to be okay, but there's some of these little cellular type thunderstorms that are developing over here in Montague County, but it looks like the storms that are east of them are chewing up the energy and robbing them over there. So it looks like those storms are going to behave, but I wouldn't be surprised to see those storms that are over there west of Gainesville, moving north towards the Red River. Those will wind up getting tornado warned at some point too, and probably produce tornadoes. A lot of high tornado perimeters in place over here tonight, and supercells that can interact. Not the line that's moving through. That's not going to produce tornadoes, but these supercells over this way are. They're producing. There's some on the ground now there. Ardmore, Sulphur Springs. But in our area, again, we got lucky, and instead of seeing supercells tonight, we're seeing this big band of thunderstorms. And what saved us, and I was talking about this earlier, is this here. This is an outflow boundary. And the outflow boundary is rain-cooled air that these storms back to the west produced. And that's keeping all this really favorable tornado environment from being able to get ingested to any of those storms. Notice how this is all stretched out. Matter of fact, you probably aren't even seeing very strong winds in that line. You're mostly seeing just heavy rainfall at this hour. That's mostly what we're seeing. I do hear periodic bouts of some hail here at the station, but flooding rains, I believe, is a bigger concern. Now, if you look, the line itself is slowly drifting east. But the individual cells are moving northeast, and then you're seeing a little bit of an expansion of the storms down here south of Knox City. So that too could push up. So I still think overnight tonight, flooding threats are going to be pretty high. Some places you're going to see probably somewhere well over 5 or 6 inches of rain here in parts of the area tonight. And flooding is going to be the biggest concern. The severe threat isn't zero, but the severe threat to me looks like it's mostly confined to hail and a little wind from time to time. Any tornadic activity probably would be associated with those supercells over east of us. I don't think we see any of that in this line here. It just doesn't look like that to me. Looks like we have a severe thunderstorm warning out now for the northern parts, perhaps, of Young County. That would be for that outflow boundary pushing on through. There's also some bouts of hail. Most of the hail we're seeing is pretty small. And behind it, there's also some thunderstorms moving up in those two heavy rain and hail producers. Here in the city, it sounds like the hail has picked up some. It doesn't look like it's that large. It doesn't sound like it's that large here at the station anyway. But could be some decent hail stones here at the storm over the city here now, as the storms continue to kind of train in from the south into the southwest. Sounds like the hail, like I say, maybe trying to get a little bit larger, but this hail is mostly confined to pea size. But it sounds like it's a good bit of it falling outside in this storm here. And that's going to be developing over into Clay County. We're seeing the heavy rain now approaching Lake Arrowhead, headed right at Henrietta soon. And that'll be pushing through more of Clay County and up there into Stevens and Jefferson County, heavy rain now, and Waurika. A lot of flooding tonight anywhere along that line. And then there's your tornadic supercells over there along I-35. Basically, we got tornado warnings now anywhere on the east side of that line from east of Oklahoma City. We're probably going to wind up seeing some more of these. That's where your tornado warnings are going to be. to be there. Our view, and there's Montague County. This is over there along I-30. So I-35 is a tornado zone for the rest of the night. We can stop this from moving. We can kind of expand this out. There's tornado warnings all the way up near Chicago to Milwaukee, Wisconsin tonight. Wow, this is just a big, big storm system. But again, we've been lucky here in our area, and mostly what we saw was this line, and now the supercells are going, but they're mostly just off to the east of us. So we got lucky in Texoma. You know, we typically do, very rarely do these big storm systems like this wind up producing significant, severe storms over us. But one thing we are getting that's a blessing is the heavy rainfall, and some of this is falling in our watershed, and I think that it's going to be beneficial. So while I don't think the lakes are going to completely fill up, I do think that this is going to help those lakes add some water to them. So that is certainly some very, very good news. And of course, the only downside to the rain here is going to be the fact that I'm going to let my dogs out of the house tomorrow. They're going to be getting muddy. That's the only downside to the rain. Only downside. So, oh, look at this here. Up here, southeast, east-southeast of Shawnee. This is that supercell we were tracking a minute ago. Look at that. Oh, that's some significant rotation on this storm. Probably a big tornado near Holden. And this is up into Oklahoma. You know, even up into Oklahoma, you know, don't get tornadoes very often this late at night. Not with supercells like this, but this is one of those rare events. And I told you yesterday that I thought the threat for tornadoes could be particularly high. And it's finally kind of everything coming together, but it's coming together along I-35. That's where it's at. Big tornado near Holden, and this big tornado is moving northeast towards Yeager. And I'm not familiar with this area up here, but this is going to head right at Interstate 40 before it catches up with that line. It's going past east of Seminole, but that's your big tornado producers there. You can go south. There's another tornado producer that's north of Sulphur Springs. That's got a large tornado on the ground with it. We've had large tornadoes on the ground near Ardmore. Looks like another one possibly is there now. Certainly looks like. So in this line, and I'm showing you this because this is what could have been us, and this is why I sounded the alarm today. There is tornadoes on the ground right now, and I'm talking big tornadoes, nasty tornadoes. Anywhere along this line, anywhere. There are at least 3 to 4 big tornadoes on the ground right now, and you're probably seeing some develop now down along the Red River too, lift north. That's where your tornado outbreak is now, is on the east side where those supercells got going. We just got lucky that those were not over us tonight, but instead they were just to our east. So Cameron and Lindsay's still here with me. Cameron, I told you that if we got supercells, that that's what was going to happen.
Well, one of the things you talked about that was our biggest, I don't say question, but potential limiting factor, which we did see, was yes, we'll see supercells, but for how long before they end up in the line? And that happened exactly that, and it wasn't very long. So because of that, could not hold their intensity as they.
Well, we're not. We don't want our viewers at home to think that hey, we're disappointed because we're not. You know, we're glad that we didn't see that.
Well, like you said, Ken, this was a situation where we were okay with being wrong.
Well, we weren't exactly wrong because the atmosphere was there. We just didn't get the supercells like they're getting, and now that they got the supercells, that's the end result. I can put on. I don't know if the storm reports will show up or not, but what in the world is that?
I do not know. Nightmare.
See, it's not. It hadn't caught. But it shows the tornado reports there in those areas today. I mean, you've got some. We got the tornado reports down here in Knox, but you know these are not always correct.
So they just said the Holdenville tornado has debris up to 25,000 feet right now.
Let's look at that Holdenville tornado. That's a big. I'm telling you, that is a massive tornado right there. And let me get. I need to get Norman back on here because it's not there. Let's get Norman. But you can see it there near Holden. You can see the debris signature there. That is a nasty. That's a large, violent tornado.
They went PDS on that.
Yeah, there's a large, violent tornado. There's your debris signature there north of Holden. You know, headed due north. This is going east of Oklahoma City, but that is a debris signature. That is a confirmed tornado on the ground there. Big. You can see even south of it. Look at how large that debris field was, even when it was south of Holden. Man, that is a. But I'm just telling folks that this is what we could have been dealing with if we would have had this storm mode over us tonight. I'm not sure what this is up here. I don't know what that is. I've never seen a radar do that before. But there's another confirmed tornado there. South of Center. down towards Sulphur Springs, and there's another confirmed tornado down there near Ardmore now. So, Cameron, that is 1, 2, 3 PDS confirmed tornado warnings there.
I think we really did dodge a bullet.
We dodged a bullet, man. I've told you, if that had been over us, and I thought there was a chance that could happen, then we would have, because what's going to happen here too is that these storms you see down here, these storms that are down here, these two will go on to produce tornadoes up here in Oklahoma as well. It's just going to happen.
And it'll all fall on the exact same path.
Yes, it's just a dangerous night over there along I-35. Well, we got a tornado warning down here finally. Look at that now. Now that is that's.
I was watching that, but I wasn't sure because it's about to smash into the line.
Yeah, so that's down there near Stanford, south of Haskell. I don't want anybody getting too concerned about that because that is going to be elevated here soon if it isn't already. I can look at the velocities on it, and I can already tell you that there's just not a lot of. There was some good rotation on it for a minute there, but I think that it's probably already been undercut, and you're probably already seeing this thing go elevated, I'd imagine. So I'm not too concerned with that down there. So for our southern counties, I'm not. The outflow boundary, the rain-cooled thunderstorm air is kind of down into this area here. And I think it was just kind of on the northern side, but now that it's up there, you can see the rotations going away. So I'm not as concerned about it now as I was. So.
Ken, do you need Jacob here?
I'll touch base with Jacob here in a minute and tell him what our plan is for the rest of the night. We do got widespread flooding. And we are keeping kind of an eye on things here, but
we still have our tornado parameters, I'd say. But most of our storms are elevated, though.
Yeah, here anyway. I don't think we're going to be dealing with tornado situation overnight. I think that's going to be over there near I-35. That's going to be the danger zone area. If you're a storm chaser, that's where you're at now. Matter of fact, I've seen several pictures of some of those tornadoes, and they are some large tornadoes indeed, and huge over there. So. But you can see the widespread nature of all this activity here. But I do believe that in time, those storms that are producing tornadoes over there are going to be merging with this line of thunderstorms. So eventually all that will weaken too. Here in Wichita Falls, we got some heavy rain. We've had some hail here too, but it looks like the heaviest part of the storm might be starting to shift over into Clay County and almost getting into Henrietta now. But it continues to remain heavy rain here at the station down into Archer County. We're still going to still see some of this heavy rain pumping up, but you can see Vernon and Electra, you're kind of out of it. If we go down to the south, but we got the push up. This is the main storm center. It's kind of pushing through the area now. And as that pushes in, you may wind up seeing the flow in the atmosphere back enough to push some of these heavier rain showers up north again, too. So we may not be done with it overall tonight.
Probably about to see another tornado warning come out north of Gainesville.
Well, I told you that was going to happen. So, yeah, there it is there. You're looking at that thunderstorm near Thackerville, just kind of over there on the west side of Lake Texoma, or just west of Lake Texoma. Just some really gnarly looking thunderstorms. You can see significant rotation. That's kind of on the edge of the radar scope. But what you're about to wind up seeing here very shortly, and we kind of touched on this a second ago, tornadoes on the ground there, another one here, and another one here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big tornadoes on the ground in a row. And those are serious tornadoes. Those aren't the weak variety. Those are the wedge EF2, 3, 4 kind of tornadoes. Now, there is this tornado warning back towards Haskell. That was with the supercell that was discrete, but I believe that is now on the north side of the outflow boundary, so I believe that storm has gone elevated. I don't think that is going to be a storm. You can see now how it was looking pretty good a second ago, and now it's kind of dissipated. So I think that warning will be allowed to be canceled too, and then this line kind of extends way down here into central parts of Texas. But it is a stormy night out there, and at least what's going to be taking shape here pretty soon is these thunderstorms. Of course, our supercells, they'll continue to kind of move up here and merge with the line over into this part of Oklahoma. But this band of thunderstorms will continue to slowly slide east around and after midnight. So Montague County, you're going to get in on it, and the rest of our eastern counties will see a shift in the activity after midnight. And this will gradually shift kind of south and southeast, but I don't want to put us in the all clear, even in Wichita, because like I say, you've got the upper level winds in the atmosphere are starting to become more like this now, and that could help pull and push some of these heavier thunderstorm bands back up to the north again, so there could still be some heavy thunderstorms even into the early morning hours. And with all this rain already have fallen, I just believe that there's going to be more opportunities for some big flooding overnight. So if you live in flood-prone areas, that could be a concern. Of course, our watershed is located into this area here, and it got some of the heavy rain, but hopefully some more of this can get up there in it. So we're hoping for that. All right, so I am going to try to take the time now to answer some questions from our viewers here. So anybody else without power? No, I don't think there's much of a tornado threat in Knott City. Like I say, there is that tornado threat, tornado warning southeast of you, but that is, I believe that was, the warning was there for when that storm was in a better environment. I think it's jumped north of the outflow boundaries. I don't think there's a threat with that anymore. So.
Are you wearing your mic, Ken?
Did it fall?
Yeah.
Oh, it fell. Sorry about that, y'all. The mic fell. My mic fell. Sorry about that. So I didn't realize that. I do apologize. You know, it's really hard to be able to sleep when it's raining this heavily outside and it's this loud thunder. You got that strobe light and you're in your house. Some people have dogs that they get woke up by the thunder and rumble, and it sometimes can be hard to sleep when there's these things. I like thunderstorms to sleep in personally. All right, so Katie, where are you at right now? You say you're scared to sleep with a new tornado warning. Where are you at? Let me know where you're at, and I can either tell you to worry about it, or I can tell you to not worry about it. So yeah, my mic had fallen off. I didn't realize it. So. Teresa says, is it pretty okay today to say the threats of these storms are low? Yeah, I think so. Katie, no, you don't worry about it. Go to bed. You're fine. There are no. I say right now, very, very low threats. Probably almost down to zero now in Wichita Falls for the rest of the night. Yeah, it can happen during the rain. They can get wrapped in rain all the time, but I just think that we're in cooler air now. I think that. You got to have a way for a thunderstorm to ingest warm air, like really warm air, and these storms are not having that opportunity because there's so much rain out there. It's cooling the atmosphere off, and they don't have access to that. Those storms along I-35, different story. They're supercells. They're rotating. There's nothing over there to kill them. But the storms here are what we consider elevated, meaning that their storm bases are up higher in the sky, and they don't have access to the Earth's surface, so you don't get anything in the way of serious, severe weather down here. Somebody wants to know why there's no alerts in Burke, because there's no alerts in Burke right now. But yeah, you can go to sleep. You guys are good. Yeah, we've had quite a bit of hell here at the station tonight, too. Bowie. So somebody's asking about Bowie here. I think Bowie is okay as well, and here's why. So you actually have seen some of these little individual cells try to pop up from time to time over there in Monte County, but I believe these cells have lined up just east of you, and they're not able to do the same things over in Monte County that the storms east of you are doing. I think that they're kind of robbing the tornado environment over there. So I think you're okay. I do believe, though, that that you're going to get into the heavy rain act here. The line is finally starting to move a little bit, and it's still going to take time. It'll still be after midnight before it gets into Bowie, but you're going to see heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds, and mostly pea-sized hail, but there will be some loud claps of thunder, so keep that in mind. Yo. All right, so Cameron told me to look at the Stanford storm, so that's what we're doing. We're looking at the Stanford storm. Cameron, it's hard to say, but I still believe that's north of the outflow boundary. You don't see anything. It just looks elevated to me. I don't see. I just don't see it being. I'll keep an eye on it, but I don't think there's anything to worry about too much with it right now. I mean, it's got a nice hook on it. Don't get me wrong, real nice hook on it, but I just believe it's north of the outflow boundary. But, even so, that's not even in our viewing area, but it's down there. It could get into our viewing area, but I think that it's going to hit rain-cooled air and going to kill it all. And there's a new tornado warning out now, there, Thackerville and northward. So this camera would make tornado warnings over here in Oklahoma. We're talking about these are confirmed tornadoes. Look at all the pink boxes here. Pink box means confirmed tornado warning. That's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll probably get another one down here. That's 6.
Yeah, and like you said yesterday, it wouldn't take much today.
There it is. There's your outbreak right there. If that had been over us, that's what we'd be seeing right now. We got very, very lucky.
And, that's worst case scenario because they're coming in right behind each other. So, because if you think about it, if someone does get hit by a tornado in this situation, they're going to lose power. They're going to lose. They're going to let their guard down, and then you have another one coming in right behind it.
So somebody wants to know why everything's moving so slow. So what's happened with everything is here, the way that everything is oriented itself is our upper level wind flow has started to do more like this. And whenever that happens, everything just tends to slow down a bit, okay? Your storm system itself, is the motion is moving like this, but the upper level winds are like this. So these storms start orienting themselves to the flow in the atmosphere, which is kind of like that there. So they don't move very quickly, but as the storm system itself moves a little bit, it helps push them along, but the upper level winds keep them over some of the same spots. So you still get some strong winds out ahead of it there, but the storm itself is moving so slow. Boy, look at those storms over there, Cameron. Mm-hmm. Look at those storms over there. Every one of them. One of that whole. This was the one that was really nasty earlier. Still is, but dang, man, that's some bad stuff over there. Wonder if the debris is still showing up. The TDS. It looks like it's still there, perhaps, but it doesn't look quite as significant as it did. Those are starting to merge with a lot of that stuff up there, but wow, that's just some dangerous situations over there. Hopefully everybody's safe. I haven't seen any reports of damage. I know that one of those hit Ardmore, or pretty close to it, so that's heavily populated areas too over there. That's over there around the Arbuckle Mountains. If you've ever seen the show The Lion King, it's kind of over in that area. You ever seen The Lion King on Netflix?
I mean, I've seen like the movie The Lion King.
No, not The Lion King, or what is it? The guy, the Tiger King, or what?
Joe Exotic?
Yeah, Joe Exotic. That's kind of over there in his Sulphur Springs. That's kind of over there in that area. So, but this is going to do one near Marietta. This is going to be another tornado producer. That's not a bad cell south of Nacona and over Bowie, but those are not. They're not able to. They don't have enough time to organize. I think those storms east of it are killing them pretty quickly. I'm keeping an eye on those, but those are not achieving yet with the ones east of them. Those ones east of them are able to stay discreet enough, and they're able to remain out here where the tornado environment is favorable over this way, and that's why they're able to produce what they're able to produce. And these storms, like I say, they're all rotating. It looks like the Metroplex is okay though, but it's kind of where they kind of start is down over the city or just north of them, and then they kind of develop into these big tornado producers up there in Oklahoma. But those are eventually going to all line out too, just kind of like this other stuff has.
Yep. You got people asking about if they should stay awake in Bowie.
No, I don't think so. I think you can go to bed. Like I say, in Bowie, it is going to get stormy there. It is going to get loud there after midnight. I would say that line is still a good hour or so away from you, maybe even longer. So it is going to storm over Bowie. It's coming. But these little cells that are popping up out ahead of it, I believe they're kind of developing over you and not south. They don't have time to organize, so they're not really doing what those storms east of you are doing. Same thing for St. Joe and Nacona. I think you're okay. But cells north and south of Thackerville, all those storms there across south central into central Oklahoma are producing tornadoes right now. I want to get some rest soon, Daisy. I want some rest soon. Where's the rotation, Matthew, that you're talking about? He says radar scope is showing rotation. Where are you talking about?
Or if he's looking at Stanford.
I mean, I can go down here to Stanford. That's north of the outflow boundary. But you can see actually the storm down here, Stanford's actually producing an outflow boundary too. And you can take a look, and yeah, I do see rotation down there. I see it. I mean, it's for sure there. And maybe this is actually on the outflow boundary down there. Maybe that's what's happening here. Maybe it is moving a little bit right and riding the outflow boundary. That's possible. So, but that's moving. That's going to move down here to the south. So, close to Henrietta, I do not see any rotation near Henrietta. Sorry, I don't see that at all. There is no rotation in Henrietta at all. None. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those algorithm things that Radar Scope has. You know, they'll trigger those little algorithms. But this storm is not rotating. There's zero rotation in Henrietta at this hour. None. So Artesian Hotel in Sulphur has damage. Now look at those confirmed. Every one of those storms over there have confirmed tornadoes with them. Every one of them does.
Like you said, it wouldn't take much to get them going.
Didn't take much, and he got them going for sure.
There's currently almost 850 miles an 850-mile stretch of tornado watches right now.
Ringling is clear, yes, of tornadoes. You'll probably see some more storms overnight tonight, but you're clear of tornadoes. That is. Boy, I got tornado warnings all over the place in Oklahoma. There, boy, they've gotten busy. I kind of figured they would. I told you earlier, so that's where it's going to be. Is at Charlie, you're good. You're heavy rain, but no tornado threats there in Charlie. Well, I'm here for you guys. That's what I do it for. Somebody wants to know if the Stanford storm will come through Graham. All right, so if you look in Graham now, look at this little blue line. There's your outflow boundary. That's the rain-cooled air produced by those storms, and it's dropping south. So it is almost to Graham now. You can follow it here, and if you follow it, we can stop it. You can follow it. There it is, and it's kind of back towards here. I still think that Stanford storm is a little bit north of that outflow boundary. Now, that storm could wind up over towards Graham, but I believe that's going to be elevated and going to be what all the rest of these storms are. I believe it's just going to be a heavy rain threat, small hail threat over you. I do not think there's going to be much of a tornado threat there in Graham with that. The only way that would happen, and I don't see this happening, is this outflow boundary would have to stop right there and not move anymore, and the storm would have to ride along it, and that's not going to happen. When that outflow boundary moves over you, it basically kills your tornado threats, which is good, right? Look at all the severe thunderstorm warnings down along that line.
It's a long stretch.
No, we can look at this. I mean, we've had tornado warnings up here in Milwaukee and north of Chicago, and north of Chicago, your neck of the woods tonight, and then it extends all the way down here into central. That's a lot of real estate.
Yep.
Look at all those warnings. Pink is, oh, there it is. Look at there. That storm what we talked about earlier is gone now. Tornado confirmed there north of Thackerville. So as of right now, and some of these are multiple warnings. So we'll include this one in the same. So there's one confirmed tornado warning. There's two. I'm going to go with this being two separate ones. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 confirmed tornado warnings over here along Interstate 35 and east of there tonight. If this had been over here, we didn't have that line, we would be dealing with a similar situation. So let's count our blessings and be glad that that did not happen. I am very relieved. Let's see if there's any more. Yeah, I think Wichita Falls is in the clear as far as high winds. Just going to see some good rain overnight. That's about it. And matter of fact, at least for right now, the heaviest rains have probably shifted to the southeast side of the city. And we may even see that band try to move a little bit east of us. But, you know, like I say, with the upper air storm system kicking in, there's some more storms developing to the south. And I can actually show you the high resolution, the HER computer model. I think it's kind of showing this. It kind of shows them trying to build back in after midnight tonight. And then there you are, you know, around 3:30 or so. Now that's completely 100% all linear stuff there at that point in time moving on out. Now there are some indications that in the morning there could be some supercells over near Dallas, and it's trying to show some storms firing up just east of us again tomorrow afternoon. So there could be some more severe weather over there in southeastern parts of Oklahoma. But I think tomorrow that the front is east of us, and I think we actually get into some good air tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be a nice day. Well, I worked. I guess when did we have that severe threat? Last Thursday night.
Yeah.
We worked all day and all night that night.
So about 4 in the morning.
Yep, and then turned around and worked about a whole day today again as well, and still here late into the night.
Thursday, like I said, up late Thursday, and then Friday was some pretty intense forecasting, and then Saturday, we're here.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things though. We don't get the storm season only comes once a year, and when storm season is here, you just got to make sure that you're rested up and ready to roll.
Part of the gig.
As part of the gig, you're right. And then you've got other times of the year. I mean, it's going to be soon, and I'm talking less than a month. It's just going to be hot and dry. Oh, about a month from now, it'll be hot and dry every day. So we got time to rest this summer. No, it will not have tornadoes. That big fat line headed towards Montague County. It will not. It's just going to be heavy rains. What it's going to do for you, what it's done to everybody else, just heavy rain. So. Somebody wants to know what's the hardest part about being a weatherman. Well, Cameron, you're new to the business. I want to get your perspective on that. What do you think the hardest part about being a weatherman is?
That's tough. I think it's the schedule. The schedule can be tough. It depends on. I mean, obviously, like for Jaden, his is a bit more difficult because he wakes up at 3 in the morning, and that's a bit of a harsh change to your sleep schedule. And then I would say the craziness, but a situation like today, Ken had to work today. Normally he's off on Saturday, but he was here today. But like I said, it's storm season, so it can be kind of chaotic with the schedules. But I mean, other than that, it's really not all that bad, Ken.
I really think. All right, so I'm going to tell people we really have an easy job for the most part. We're not out in the sun. We're not on top of a roof. We're not digging ditches. Those guys out there in the summer that are working in the heat, they have a hard job.
We could be laying concrete.
Yeah, that's hard. I've done that before. A couple years ago at my house, my wife and I got out there in the hottest part of the summer and laid a concrete patio. It was absolute torture. Here in the newsroom, I don't even think that we have the hardest job in the station. I think that the reporters and those people, I think they have to work hard. I had to do some reporting early in my career. That's hard, man. You've got to get your stories lined up. You got to get your interviews lined up. Then you got to go out and get it shot. You got to bring it back in. You got to edit, and then you got to get it proofread. Then you got to get it. It's just that's a hard job. It's not hard physically, but mentally it's real demanding and taxing. Okay, so to me, the hardest part of being a meteorologist would be these late nights like this, because that the threat isn't super serious from what we're seeing, at least here anyway. It's not. So what happens is you say, okay, well, I think that we can let the crawl handle it. So if anything goes on the TV, we can just, we'll just go home and let the crawl handle it. But then there's always that little bit of a thought in the back of your mind, well, what if something goes wrong? So it makes it hard to sleep. So you're constantly checking the radar scope on your phone. And, it's just making the decisions of when to go home on a situation like this. I hadn't seen my wife in a few days. I want to go home and see her. And, it just makes it tough.
Well, and, think about it like this. Even, say we did do that and we went home. What are we going to do? Like you said, we're going to sit there and watch radar is what we're going to do.
Well, with technology, we can cover, at least on social media, you can cover this stuff from home. You really can. But we just, it's just easier, at least for right now, while we have active storms moving through, just to kind of sit here and do it. So, but yeah, that's the hardest part, is making the decision on when to go, and it is some sleepless hours, that's for sure. But we only have to do it a few times a year, which is some good news. So, somebody wants to know any more info on Ardmore. Well, that's where the danger zone is at this hour. Boy, it's Ardmore. You've been in the crosshairs. So if you look, Ardmore, I'll stop this from moving. Look at all those confirmed tornado reports from Holdenville all the way into Ardmore and Sulphur Springs at this hour. It looks like that you are probably in a situation where the worst of the storms are now kind of up towards Sulphur and those areas. You kind of go down to Springer, but it looks like you're okay there. But there's another one just south of you towards Marietta that's moving almost due north and moving at Ardmore. So this may go just east of Ardmore, but definitely a pretty nasty situation remains. And plus we got other supercells now down there to the south, and those too will probably become tornadic producers. So every one of these storms have. So, you know, sometimes when the atmosphere, Cameron, is just right, every storm produces, and every one of these storms are producing here. So there comes more. These will probably get tornado warnings on them. We'll probably see additional tornadoes continue until this line moves in and merges with these storms. So I still think under the gun is still over in this area with more continuous tornado warnings and tornadoes on the ground over there. You know, actually there's a storm near Nacona that's gotten a little bit better, but I still think those storms east of it will probably keep it from doing the same. I think it's going to merge with the line up there, and I think it'll be okay there. But you know, I'm watching it anyway, though. You still got that tornado warning down there near Stanford, but I'm not too worried about that. Nah, I don't think so. But I do think by the time you get up in the morning that most of this activity will be gone. Okay, I do believe. Yeah. I believe that this activity will be gone by the morning, but you know everything's going to be, you know, everybody's ponds and family in Ardmore have no power. High school is on fire, not confirmed. So this is unconfirmed for Ardmore that power is out there and the high school is on fire. Sounds like the town of Ardmore could have been hit pretty significantly with a tornado over there. It sounds like it. I don't know for sure. I got a good friend over there of mine, Todd Rasmussen. He's a really good meteorologist, and I wonder if, I know he's probably been all over this. He actually did try to do some TV with us once here at the station, but you know, it was too hard of a commute on him with the family life and whatnot, so he didn't work out. But I know that he does a lot of radio and social media stuff over that way.
Only an hour and a half could take some photos, couldn't it?
Well, you know, I guess we should have sent the tracker over there. You've been having some fun now, then, wouldn't you, if you'd been there?
Yeah, it would have been a lot of fun. That honestly might have been a difficult chase because you have so many coming at once.
It'd be hard to keep up with it, that's for sure.
One, that's okay, you know. All right.
So Scott wants to know about Thackerville. So Thackerville, the observed tornado is north of there up towards Marietta, but Thackerville is right there, and there's still supercells north and west of you, any of which could quickly spin up a tornado. So, you know, Thackerville is still kind of on the bottom edge of that real high threat zone. But the major threat zone for tornadoes, I believe that the storms are merging with the line up north, so they'll become more of your quick spin-ups. But I do believe that at least in the short term, your tornado danger zone is kind of right in there. That would be Ardmore, Thackerville, down to about Gainesville, and just kind of east of St. Joe. I don't see a lot of additional cells firing south of there, some little small ones, but nothing major. So maybe we'll see this turn off a bit. You know, in time, you'll probably see a lot of this stuff build over into this area too. As far as the Metroplex goes, it looks like you may have a little bit of a cap, or maybe a little bit of a situation where there's no lift over you. The radar indicates some pretty good send down that way. That's probably why there's no storms over you. But in time, that line will make it down its way over towards the Metroplex, but probably not until the wee hours of the morning. So it could be a stormy morning, church morning there for our friends down in Dallas. So, yeah, big rotation showing up there near Marietta there. That is just south of Ardmore. You know, it's on the edge of the radar site, so it's real difficult to see. But I do believe that there's some pretty significant rotation on radar there near Marietta. I'm going to go out of Frederick. You can see the rotation there. A little bit of rotation on the southeast side of Ardmore, and another one kind of just north of Marietta, headed towards the east side of Ardmore, with more possible damage with that. No, Brittany, I don't think so. You know, there is a little storm there near Nacona. It's not bad looking, but it just doesn't have time to organize. It's north of Nacona. It's over the lake. I know Brendan Dunn's probably out there taking pictures of it. That's what he does. He lives on Lake Nacona. But, you know, that's going to move north up there to the north of the river here shortly, and it will not be an issue for Nakona or Lake Nakona. Your main threat still comes with that line of storms, but that's not a tornadic line. It's just going to be heavy rain and a little wind. So, no, Henrietta is actually just now getting in on the act, the heavy rain. It's going to rain there for a while and pretty loud thunder, so you're a little hail from time to time. And as we thought, Cameron, the tornado warning for the Stamford area has been expired, has been canceled.
There's nothing on it.
Yeah. I think that the only threat, really the only areas I see threats for tornadoes will, of course, we got the danger zone area we've been talking about over in here. There's your tornado threats there. And then you'll see perhaps some tornado threats down in this area, maybe along the line down there. But I believe that the outflow boundary is going to hurt all this up here, so that's why I'm not thinking. We just got real lucky here, and that's the way Wichita Falls and this part of the area is. You think that and you say that, but the area is wow, potentially intense tornado progress near Marietta. That's the one north of Thackerville. That's the TDS on that Marietta storm up to 17,000 feet. Wow, that is impressive. So there's your Marietta storm. Weather Service real concerned about that one there. It's tossing debris way up high in the sky. Oh, yeah, you can see it there. Look at that, Cameron.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see it. There's your debris. That's between Ardmore and Marietta, and that's going to go just right up here on the east side or just east of I-35, just east of Ardmore. So I believe that's in the Arbuckle Mountains area, so pretty populated area over there. I'm afraid we're going to wind up seeing some pretty good damage. Let me see if there's anything from the weather. I do see a picture there. Tornado of violent tornado. Look, there's some significant damage in Sulphur, Oklahoma. From that tornado there. It's hard to tell because it's dark, but it looks like those trees are completely snapped and that building has been completely destroyed. That's crazy. Crazy. And that's what we could have been seeing here tonight. Thankfully, it didn't happen. But prayers definitely to our friends over there along Interstate 35. And if you're east of Ardmore, this is headed up towards you now. More dangerous storms, and not to be the bearer of bad news, but there we go again. A couple more tornadic supercells developing Marysville and east or west of Thackersville. There's some more storms developing down towards Gainesville.
How fast do you get to Gainesville?
Yeah, it's a long way. 2 hours. You won't get there. So not in all this rain anyway. So this stuff here is going to continue to move up just like this, and it's going to continue to produce tornadoes as it does so. So anybody that lives, if you're watching me, if you got family, anybody that lives over in this area here, they need to really be paying attention to the weather overnight tonight. We got lucky here. So I don't know how to really show photos, and that was on the Weather Service, and I'm not able to really pull those out. So Thackerville, Scott says, was without power. So. I wonder how many folks we got watching us tonight here. We got quite a few there. Quite a few. Weather's an event in this part of the country. People are weather savvy, but they also get real nervous about it. So, growing up in Mississippi, I'd be terrified every time we had thunderstorms in the middle of the night because we always got our tornadoes in the middle of the night, and I'd always be scared to death of them. So anytime we had a threat, I never would sleep. And I'd have my little weather radio by my bed, and it'd go off every 5 minutes. So my mom and dad would get, turn that thing off, and I'd still have it on. I'd be scared to death, man. Yeah, Oklahoma's been getting it bad. They're taking on the chin east of I-35. I mean, it kind of got, the one little storm that produced a tornado, and that looked to me like that was a fairly weak one. I don't know for certain, but that one that kind of went up towards the east side of Oklahoma City. That's the one that Cameron was chasing. That's actually the original storm that got going on down near Knox County earlier today. And then you just had this big blob of rain and heavy thunderstorms develop, and now you've got the supercells along Interstate 35 there. That's where everything is now. And yet, I told my wife I'd be home after the news tonight, and I still have a plan to leave here. I feel confident that we're only going to see heavy rain overnight. That's what I feel pretty confident with it now. I'm just wanting to make sure that these little supercells over near Monte don't do anything. I think we're pretty good, though. because I know everybody's scared. The east side of Ardmore, Dickinson needs to be sheltering. Yeah, lots of tornado warnings over there tonight. Boy, that's a bad situation. You know, I don't know that I've seen middle of the night like this. We're getting close to midnight now where there's been tornado warnings in this part of the country like this. We usually just don't get them at night, but this is El Nino, and our weather patterns are different with El Nino. The atmosphere's got higher moisture content, and you know, the storms are just behaving a little bit differently. So for now in Wichita Falls, there's still some pretty good rain over us, but the heaviest has now shifted southeast of us. Heavy rain from Waurika down towards Henrietta now, Archer City, Alney, those areas. There are some thunderstorms that have redeveloped kind of on the backside. This is kind of the top edge of the storm system itself. And this part of the storminess here could in time build back northward as this line accelerates eastward. You know, this is kind of the area I'm expecting for the heaviest rains to shift overnight tonight. Will continue to kind of be over in kind of the here. That's where it's all going to be, their heaviest rains. But there could still be a bit of an extension of some of that up this way too. I'm trying to monitor here and see what we got as far as any damage goes there.
I'll start looking at social media again.
Oh, look at that tornado near Ardmore. I guess the storm chaser got it. That's a big pitch. That's a nasty tornado, that's for sure.
I don't know where this is from, but Eric posted a picture. Eric Fox.
Wow, that's some significant damage there. I'm not sure where that is.
He didn't say where.
And then Todd just messaged me. Boy, brother, that was crazy. Man, I hope. Are you guys okay? Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Wow. Just show you how, you know, the risk of chasing. Someone I saw that was out on that storm near Knox City.
Mm-hmm.
They went all the way up to Sulphur, and they made a post that they had all their windows blown out of their car.
Really?
They got caught in the storm.
Wow. Well, you know, if you were just a chaser and that's all you did, you weren't working for us, you probably would have done the same thing too, though. So, you know, it's good. You know, I can understand those guys doing that, but there's just no way I was going to say, hey, why don't you go to Ardmore and chase this stuff? I mean, it's just, we can't do that. But oh boy, it's just crazy. Crazy night over there for sure. Somebody wanted me to check on Columbia. Oh, there's actually a storm up there in Columbia, Missouri right now. Let's take a look at that one. Somebody wanted to know about Columbia, Missouri. So let's look at that one real fast here. There's some tornado warnings up there between Kansas City and there. You know, I see those storms. That's, you know, that's not that intense, Cameron. I don't think there's much to that stuff over there. Any rotation up there in Missouri, that's the weak stuff. Nothing to be concerned with. Not like we're staying down here in Oklahoma tonight. So there's storm chasers stuck up in Oklahoma now because there's nobody that had any gas pumps on. So sounds like Sulphur Springs have been hit pretty bad. You're welcome. Thanks there, Jim. Appreciate it, Jen. Oh, there's flooding all over the place. There's flooding everywhere.
Matched up with the lightning strike.
That's some significant damage. I'm gonna guess that's Sulphur Springs or Sulphur.
That's Sulphur.
You know, I can't. Of course, I don't know what kind of a construction building that was, but it's leveled, whatever it is. So major damage to our house. So sounds like Sulphur Springs has been hit pretty hard. All right. So Henrietta has no power, multiple touchdowns. So when you talk about Henrietta, is that up there in Oklahoma? I think that's where Alyssa Osterdock is from, is Henrietta, Oklahoma. So Yeah, look at all those confirmed tornadoes. Of course, it's all merging with that line now, so the threat for the violent tornadoes is beginning to go down in some of those areas now. But, you know, you still have those threats with those supercells down there. Or I don't think Ardmore's in the clear yet. The hospital in Marietta got hit by a tornado. Marietta, you know, there's still tornadic activity in that area right now. So, Thackerville has no power. Boy, it's just been really bad over there today. Yeah, I do believe Sulphur took a direct hit. I'm seeing a lot of reports of damage up that way.
There's not a ton of pictures coming out.
Well, it's dark. It's night there, so you're not going to have a bunch. But yeah, everywhere over there has really just been seeing a lot of damage.
So this is Eric's photo, and it is from Sulphur, and it's a brick building.
Well, if that is the case, and again, I don't know for sure what is what, but it looks like there's some cinder blocks in there. That's probably EF3 damage, at least, from what I'm seeing there in Sulphur Springs. From this to kind of the way that looks, EF2, EF3, definitely probably EF3. So sounds like EF3 tornado, type tornado in Sulphur Springs there tonight. Looks like we have another confirmed tornado down near Marietta headed towards Ardmore. That's another confirmed tornado. You know, it's just over here, you're just on the edge of the radar and you can't see anything. It's hard to see any of those things. But any of those storms over there are going to continue to produce. I actually got some storms blowing up now with the outflow boundary, actually merging with it. So while you haven't seen a lot of storminess yet, we're about to see that change quickly. Graham, Jacksboro, this whole area here is about to fill in quickly with heavy rain and storms. I do think in time, as this line merges, that the tornado threats will begin to gradually come down over into this area. But at least for the next hour or so, tornado threat pretty high over there. There's lots of power. All right, so it sounds like Knox City got hit. So there's lots of power, loss of power in Knox City. Sounds a lot. You know, you had a big tornado down there today. I mean, it was big. It was a big wrapped in rain one, but it was definitely a big tornado there in Knox City this afternoon. So. You know, up towards Henrietta, yes, you have a lot of heavy storms there in Oklahoma, Henrietta, Oklahoma, and there are tornado warnings up there in that area. Basically, you've got tornado warnings from north of Tulsa down through Tulsa. Then you can kind of go down towards, there's Henrietta at this time. You've got tornado warnings just west of Henrietta, and yeah, that's where Alyssa Osterdock is from. If you see, I see some significant rotation on radar. Also west of him, that's a nasty looking signature on radar, west-northwest of Henrietta. Probably a pretty significant tornado on the ground there near Oriental, headed up towards Tuskegee. Significant tornado on the ground there, probably doing some pretty serious damage, I'd imagine, but that is well west of Henrietta, so that is good news. Henrietta seems to be okay at this hour. This is Henrietta, Oklahoma, not Texas, but that continues to move northward. You got this whole line that's going to be moving there soon. Main threat with the line is heavy rain, but even over here, the line's different over in this part because you don't have an outflow boundary that's rushing out ahead of it. These storms could still have spin-ups and tornadoes embedded within the line over eastern Oklahoma tonight. You got the supercell still down near Ardmore and down near Henrietta. I can't. It is all right if I go, Jacob. Yes, you can go, Jacob. Just leave us the Facebook Live up. So, you know, those storms are, you know, going to kind of head over towards continue. So you still got the threat east of Ardmore and Marietta, headed towards Tishomingo and Pontotoc. Those would be the areas we're worried about there in Oklahoma. But if you go back to the west down in our area, we're just dealing with heavy rain and perhaps some flooding overnight for the rest of the night. Yes, Wichita is in the tornado clear. You can find me on Facebook. It's just Ken Johnson, First Alert 6 Chief Meteorologist Ken Johnson. You know what? I don't know. Honestly, Brittany, I have not looked real closely at the weather pattern in the extended. I know that it was looking like the jet stream was going to be a bit weaker as we get into next week, but it still looked like it could still be active off and on for the next couple of weeks. You know, May is typically the #1 tornado month, severe weather month in our part of the country. But the way things have been as of late is oftentimes late April, early May may be kind of active, and then may see another bout there in the middle parts of May. But usually by the end of May, it all shifts out of here, and we transition to a summertime pattern. So that may happen, but that remains to be seen. You just know it's May, and it's just one of the times that I just believe you just kind of keep an eye on things. So I'm happy for Henrietta, but yes, you can go to sleep in Henrietta, Texas. No threat for tornadoes there. McAllister, Oklahoma. That stuff is going to head towards McAllister, Oklahoma in time. You got tornadic supercells to your southwest, but I think by the time everything gets to you, it's mostly going to be in the line form. So mostly a heavy rain, strong gusty wind, maybe some brief tornado type things over that way. But as of right now, unless these other storms are firing up to the south, start to try to intensify any, I think McAllister will be mostly just, tornado threat is there, but I don't think there's going to be a super high tornado threat. But we'll just have to wait and see how everything kind of comes together and merges over that way over the next several hours. But after midnight, McAllister, I'd keep my eyes open on things, keep a weather alert to see what happens with this line. Bowie, you're about to see the storminess increase there shortly. That line is not far away from you, and you're seeing that outflow boundary come into play now. And we're probably about to see the storminess increase there in Bowie. Yeah, it looks like the severe threat's not particularly high in Bowie. I think it's mostly going to be a heavy rain and flooding threat. So, like I said earlier, I think that the worst of the weather is probably through Wichita Falls now, although there might be some more rain overnight tonight. I think the worst of it's going to be south and east of us now. The heaviest rains, that is. More Oklahoma, just some heavy rain up your way. I think your tornado threat's basically over with there. Archer City, heavy rain. Note the threat for severe weather is pretty low there at this time, too. Matter of fact, I'm going to say on here, severe thunderstorm threats. If there's going to be severe thunderstorm threats for the rest of the night, it would be down into this area here. I think this is just going to be heavy rain up here. There's your tornadoes over there. But this is heavy rain. We're just going to go at the H there. This could be severe here, moving that direction. And this is in the clear back here. So there's your T's. There's your H for the heavy rain. There's your clear, and there's your severe thunderstorm warnings. So that's what we're looking at. Tornadic activity over here, heavy rain here, maybe some severe storms down here.
Check out that one that is currently south of Tulsa. It's still a ways away south of Tulsa. If you look at reflectivity, you can start to see the donut hole showing up on it.
Up here?
Yes,
Tuskegee?
Is it? Yeah, you can see a little bit of that donut hole forming right there.
Yeah, that's it. I guess that's going to be our updraft there.
Yep,
oh, wow. Look at that intense circulation. Very intense near Tuskegee. I bet it's got some pretty significant debris with it, too, I bet. Yeah, hard to say.
Check for you. Yeah, it's hard. It's messy. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, but pretty nasty tornadoes over that way tonight.
Man, that's wild.
I mean, you're seeing I do see a debris signature there east of Ardmore. I believe that's what that was there.
Right.
You don't really see it down towards Marietta now. Okay. All right. Well, here's my plan for the rest of the night, guys. I'm about to jump off of Facebook Live. Of course, we're going to keep an eye on things. I think the overall severe threat's going down some, and mostly what we're seeing is heavy rain threats. I think you guys can, at least in my neck of the woods, can probably go to sleep now and be okay. I don't think there's anything to worry about too much. We've got some really good meteorologists, I'm sure, in the Oklahoma City stations and probably over there in Sherman Denison that are watching these thunderstorms, at these tornado warnings there along I-35. So we certainly are there. My buddy Todd Rasmussen is over there, and let's see if he hasn't updated me. Oh wow, look at this right here. Look at that tornado there. That was Ardmore. You can see the explosion there on that. That's crazy. Yep. Now we got lucky. Very, very lucky here tonight. So according to Eric Fox, he says it's really bad in Sulphur. Yeah, these are some well-constructed buildings that have been leveled. Yep. I'm just kind of scrolling through Facebook here. I'm trying to scroll through and see what else I see. Yeah, I just seeing pictures from Eric. So this strong tornado, SNR is almost impossible. I don't know what SNR is almost impossible means, but from Eric, but that looks like, I think it looks like to me. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. It looks like to me EF3 type tornado has hit the Ardmore or the Sulphur area tonight. What it looks like to me up there in Oklahoma. Still got these tornadoes down from Marietta. These are going to go east of Ardmore now, I believe. But there's still, multiple tornado warnings up there around the Sulphur area. But it looks like a lot of that's now just kind of enshrouded in rain. So, all right. I'm jumping off. I think our day is done here, Cameron. So, prayers for Oklahoma for sure.
We dodged one, Ken.
Yeah, we dodged the bullet, guys. But remember that what's happening over there in Oklahoma now easily could have been us. We got really lucky that we didn't see supercells last any longer than they did. Because look at all those pink confirmed tornado warnings still ongoing at this hour from Sulphur down to Marietta, Oklahoma, all of which have produced big tornadoes tonight and some really significant damage in the Sulphur area. There's significant damage in Ardmore. There's damage all the way down to the south towards Thackerville and Marietta. That could have easily been us. Prayers certainly with our friends just east of us here. But we're going to call it a night here, folks. And, of course, y'all just stay safe. And if anything changes, of course, we can do an update from home or wherever. But overall, I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to make it through this one. So